It's a good bet that warm, cozy, and secure in their homes throughout the land, most traveling bird hunters remained blissfully unaware of nature's rampage in Michigan last spring. From March 28, 2025, ice storms unleashed their fury across the northern part of the lower peninsula and into the upper peninsula, snapping trees, cutting power, and reconfiguring the forest floors in unimaginable ways. In Rogers City, located on the shores of Lake Huron, at the tip of the index finger of the Yonne State's mitten, the early part of the storm and the speed with which it developed terrified Brittany Vanderwall. Its intensity left her feeling helpless and powerless, both literally and figuratively. Her electricity went out for 6 days. She lost phone service for 24 hours. There was nothing she could do other than to sit there and watch the ice accumulate in her backyard, watch the strange intersection of freeze and thaw, watch the tree limbs just bow and bow and bow, then snap. The amount of ice we had and the amount of time we had it in, I don't think anyone could imagine that, she said. Nighttime made things worse, especially in areas far from town where trees dominated the landscape. In the dark, one could hear trees and branches crash, crash, crash. Vanderwall called the ordeal our own version of a psychological and physical grief shared with the landscape. She felt a double tug, the first as one personally affected, watching the storm develop in her own yard. Then, as the professional forester for the American Forest Foundation, she cried every time she encountered the destruction up close. The first time she shed real tears, and the rest, metaphorically. As he encountered the storm farther west, Randy Claremont remembered. Watching it was devastating. While waiting out the storm at his home north of Petoskey, at the tip of the mitten's little finger near Lake Michigan, he said, "The fear of branches or trees falling on the house, the loud, cracking noise and delayed breaking off of the ice-covered limbs made it more dramatic than most can imagine." Huddled inside with his wife and 8-year-old daughter, Claremont, fisheries chief for the Michigan DNR, was reminded of the early moments of some opening days of deer hunting, when you hear boom after boom, that first hour of daylight. This was similar, but it lasted for days and was both day and night. As a good neighbor, Claremont got busy on his tractor to help clear the trees that had fallen in his subdivision. He worked Friday night and again on Saturday. On his way back to his house, he had to remove 2 more trees that had fallen in the time he had been gone. On Sunday, while helping neighbors clear more trees and branches, he ran out of diesel fuel. He headed into town but was not able to find a drop. Claremont added, "Trees kept falling for the next few days." His family was out of power for 13 days. Among his pastimes, Claremont likes to boil maple syrup. The upputsy storm's work will limit his output for some time to come. "I lost many maple trees, so that was devastating. In my area, there was not a tree that wasn't impacted. Hemlock, all the softwoods really took a hit, but to see maples and other hardwoods bend like a fly rod until a breaking point was a sight I hope to never see again." For an idea of the extent of damage, consider it took Claremont 2 weeks to clean the debris from around his buildings and yard. He estimates it'll take 2 years to clear into the woods, including all of the hanging branches, and his lot is only 0.6 acres in size. Now from that, extrapolate the amount of cleanup required statewide, with 3+ million acres damaged. That includes about 1 million acres of public land, with about 3,400 miles of forest roads. For all its destruction, the storm did leave a few positives in its wake. As the detritus decays, the nutrient levels in the soil will increase, which will aid in regenerating the forest, as will the additional sunlight hitting formerly shaded spots. The increased wood decay will enhance the soil for morel mushrooms. Temporarily, the debris should provide more shelter for some ground-dwelling animals and birds. Wildlife should, on the whole, benefit. All that's true, but bird hunters will have a terrible time walking through this mess, observed Michigan writer Tom Hugler on a visit to Pigeon River Country in the spring. So, perhaps an additional side benefit for the wildlife will be less hunting. Pressure because the storm leftovers will simply discourage people from walking into a goodly number of places. But the thought of all that destruction, however, generates another negative byproduct. The storm's emotional cost that did not materialize until well after the winds abated and whose repercussions linger. though we now approach the doorstep of a new season of snow. I've had clients who bird hunted in certain areas up there for years, and they've told me all the covers have been destroyed, said Southwest Michigan dog trainer Justin McGrail. They can't even get into the places where they've held their traditional hunt camps. Doubtless, out-of-state hunters have been confronted by this reality since the September 15th ruffed grouse opener. Despite the battering the storm delivered, back in Rogers City, Vanderwall acknowledged, "It was hard not to behold the patterns made by the ice on the plants and tree limbs and the delicate bouquets of ice offered by small stands of trees that were kind of beautiful in their own way after the storm had passed. When the light would hit just right and you could finally breathe. It was fascinating and terrifying." The ice storm took Vanderwall on a mini journey of nature's ways. Initially, it awakened her innermost terror. Its wake gave birth to what she called a beautiful danger.